Welcome to Mobile Must Have. My name is Andy, and today we're going to be talking about installing the new TST TPMS system. Lots of initials there. Now for today's video, I'm going to be using these flow-through sensors. They work very similar to the cap sensors on the install and the syncing between the screen and the sensor. Really the only difference is the flow-through part of it or not. Now if you're more in the research phase of which TPMS system to go with, the only kind of major factor difference is the flow-throughs require a metal stem going into your tire. And if you have a rubber stem or something that's not metal, you can put the cap on. It's important you put the right ones on your tires. If you put the wrong one on, it could rip off during driving conditions and create a nasty experience there. The overall time for this installation is, I'd say, roughly 15 minutes, kind of doing all the syncing and installing. It's really not that hard of a process. But of course, if you have 12 tires, it's going to take you longer than the 6. And a couple things before we get started. This particular TST unit is this kind of the standard 507. This will connect with your truck and I believe up to 4 different trailers. So you can have almost like 100 different sensors connected to this. So when you're going through it, just make sure you're setting it up for trailer 1, or if there's nothing, then that would also be trailer 1. But if you do want to buy more sensors, say you have a boat and an RV or like a utility trailer, you can buy one for each of these trailers, and without doing any swapping or additional head units per se, you can do that. To get started, it's pretty easy. The first thing we're going to do is turn the unit on the side, and it should come powered. If not, you can use a standard kind of micro USB on the side to charge it. We are going to set up our tires. Now you have a couple options that the instructions will walk you through. You can use the stickers that come with the pack and name each of the sensors. So I have just gone through and named them 1 through 6. You will see in the instructions you might want to name it based on the end of the trailer and put 1 through 6 on your truck. It really doesn't matter. The purpose is just so you know which sensor is designated for which tire when you're doing the setup and actual installation. So to keep things easy for me is I just did tires 1 through 6 and they're all going on my tri-axle 5th wheel. Alright, now we're ready to go. So the first thing I like to do is put my number stickers on each of the sensors so I can keep those straight. And then now that I have all 6 of those numbered, we're going to program them into the system. It's just a few button pushes, but it's nothing too challenging. Hold down set and you'll hear a beep. And then we're going to move over to the Learn ID. I think it's up 5 times, something like that. 1, 2, 5. And we're going to hit set again. Now we're going to move to the tire that we want to program. So I'm going to actually do the inside of the last 4 or last 6 of the trailer. There we go. So now I'm going to hit set. And that will set the Fs to start flashing. Now from here, I'm going to hit program, which gives me this kind of ID. And I had it sitting right behind it, so it already found it. Then I'm going to hit set, and that saves it in. So now I'm going to do the same thing for number 2. So in case you missed it, we're going to do it a couple more times. From this screen, I hit plus to go to the next inside tire. I'm going to place my sensor at the bottom of the screen. I'm going to hit set for it to start flashing. I'm going to hit go or code, sometimes what they call instructions. It's going to find it. I'm going to hit set, and that will basically save it in place. And I'm going to go through these and do them all in order. So my next tire is outside. I'm going to skip that one. Next tire is outside on the passenger side. Skip that one. Now I'm on that inside tire. I'm going to do 3. So I'm going to set my sensor here. I'm going to hit set to get it flashing. I'm going to hit code to get it to program. Set again to get it to save. And now we've done number 3. I'm going to do number 4, 5, 6, and I'll meet you back here. Okay, now that we have everything programmed, we will see on the screen, we will now be showing our 6 tires that we've got programmed in the position we programmed them, and we should be set to go at that point. There are a couple default settings you can change if you want to. That would be low and high pressure warnings as well as a high temperature warning. I recommend going about 10 to 20% on the low pressure and high pressure. Typically for a blowout, if you're concerned about tires, they're going to happen on the low pressure setting. So when you start losing tire pressure in your tire, that's when you start to have a blowout. The other chance would be closer to your high temperature. When you go over, let's say, like 200 degrees in your tires is when you'll start having a problem. The default temperature rating is 175, so you probably leave the high temperature default alone, but depending on the range of your tires for the low pressure, you might need to change that. If you need to change it, it's quite easy. If you hit set and hold it, you will see flashing on the bottom for high pressure. If you go up, you will see it change to low pressure. Up again is to set the high temperature. This is where, so if I was to change to high temperature, navigate back to it, hit set, and you will see the tire selected. It's probably going to start for the tractor settings or your car settings. If you hit the top button, mine says go, but I've also seen it say code. That will move the tires selected back, and the temperature is set based on that type. You'll see the default is set to 175. It's a bit high for my tires, so I'm going to find the right grouping of tires, which is that back grouping, and then you can hold down the plus or the minus to change that number. So I'm going to change mine to, let's say I'm at 80. I'm supposed to be at 80, so I'll put mine at probably 110. I want to be alerted at 110 if anything goes over that PSI. Hit set again, and that will save it. And then we're going to go check the low pressure. Hit set again to enter that. We're going to hit code to change it to the right tire group settings. And our low pressure is set to 65. That's pretty good. We're in the winter, so the temperatures and the tires are changing a lot. I typically will wake up and they're far below 80, but once we get to driving temperature, they hovered around 85 psi. So something around 65 psi, I want to be alerted once it hits that point. We're going to hit over to go to the high temperature setting. Again, you can hit set and you can change the temperature from there. There are a lot of other settings you can get out of your manual if you're interested, but this is kind of the major setup you need to do. And now at this point, let's just go install them on our tires. All right. All right, and now we're down here with our tires. We are going to start installing them. It's a pretty quick process, but one thing to go over, there is a safety feature you can add with these. It comes with them. It comes out of the box. You'll see like this little, just kind of funny wrench thing. The concept is you can screw on the little nut before you put on the sensor, and then you can tighten the nut against the sensor, and that doesn't allow anybody to just take off the sensor if you're in a parking lot or anything like that. Pretty easy install, but just can be a little tricky with this if you want to do it. All right, and like I said, you just take the nut. We're going to spin it all the way down the thread. Then we are going to take the correctly numbered valve. I'm going to screw it on. All right, and make sure you make it tight, but don't over tighten it. If you over tighten it, you can cause more problems than making it too tight. And then I would, with your hands, take that nut and push it right up against the tire sensor. And once it's as tight as you can get it with your fingers, then you can come in with the little wrench and give it just a bit of a tighten. Don't over tighten any of this. It's like a hard plastic, but so you can still break it. And then I put my cover back on, and you're all set to go. And now I'm going to go through and install on each tire the little bronze kind of hex nut that came with it, and then putting our sensors over it. And just make sure to keep those numbers so you don't have to take them all off again, put them back on, or reprogram them if you can't remember. So try and keep it in order. All right, let's go tire by tire. Okay, and just like that, I've already installed just this side, and we can already see I'm getting a tire pressure back. I'm getting the temperature of the air inside that tire, and we're already seeing progress. Okay, and just like that, everything is set up. We have all 6 of our sensors installed, and we can almost instantly see on the screen as we click through each one that they are all there and reporting. So that is working, I would say, as expected. Now, it's colder than when I filled them up last, so they're going to show a bit lower than 80 psi, but that's okay. You'll see they're all pretty close. Now, one more topic around this is for mounting. It comes with 2 different options. The first option is going to be this cool kind of like dash thing. You can just sit on your dash. It's silicone, so it'll stick for the most part. Or it does have a sticky windshield kind of cup. You can decide what you like. I kind of prefer this one because I don't like it up all the time. We drive in our truck, so I don't like it sitting up on this when I don't need it and everything. So I'll put it on here. I get about 4 solid drive days on the battery life out of this. And so when I don't need it and we're not towing, I will just put it in the center console. Of course, turn it off, but leave it in the center console. And then when I need it again on a tow day or a travel day, we'll set it back up. From a charging standpoint, I have plugged it directly into the USB of the truck. It does come with a kind of a cigarette lighter adapter. Or you can always just kind of charge it when you're sitting. If you've noticed it's dead, it's very flexible. So all in all, I think this is a great system. Like I said, I've had it installed for a couple months. We haven't had any issues. You can get additional sensors from Mobile Must Have if you need them. You can add them directly to this. You don't need a whole nother system. You can just get additionals. We sell in packs of 2 and 4 with the flow through and the caps. You can mix them if you need to. Like so for our truck, I'll probably put cap sensors on it since that's the right type for the particular tire I've got, but I'll leave the flow throughs on there. You can even buy sensors for your spare tires if you want it. There are spare tire symbols on there for each trailer and truck if you want one. All right, that's the video for today. If you have any comments or questions, you can leave them in the comments below, or you can email us right at Mobile Must Have, and we'll do our best to respond to you as soon as we can. Thank you guys, and we will see you in the next video. Bye.